Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You are here with Austin from Ohio, and today is Monday, March 21st, 2022. Well, we've come to a point now to where instead of them trying to hide what they're doing and maybe just having one of their lemmings go and, discreetly say what they're doing, but not in a way to where everybody would catch on, we now exist in a time to where they're coming out and they're just saying the term New World Order, New World Order, New World Order, New World Order. You know, the one that doesn't exist, according to pretty much everybody to this day. Or if they do think that it does exist, they think it's either a Democrat plan or a Republican plan, or, well, the Democrats would say, oh, it's the Republicans in Russia, and the Republicans say, no, it's the Democrats in China, when in reality we know who is pulling the strings. Take a look at what the President of the United States just came out and said. Biden warns that things are shifting and there is going to be a new world order, and we have to lead it. That is exactly from the United Nations playbook. The United States was always selected to lead the New World Order system because the United States created the United Nations. That's why the headquarters is in Manhattan. That's why we are basically the only country that is allowed to impose sanctions and act as the world's police and invade countries with no outcry, because that's what it is. In a recent speech from President Joe Biden, he warned that now is the time where things are shifting. There's going to be a new world order out there, and we've got to lead it. And of course, you could watch the clip to where he says for himself, but if I click it, it'll take me to Twitter. And I don't have a Twitter, so if you guys do, I will link this in the description. Or you could probably just look it up on YouTube or whatever. And that's basically it for this. So the President of the United States comes out and says that there's going to be a new world order and we have to lead it. They're not stopping, guys. They're not stopping in their agenda for world government. They are closer now than they ever have been. And it's our fault, really. People can point fingers at each other all day long and say it's one side, the other side, it's the corporations, it's the, this and that. But in reality, it is the 13 bloodlines that have been ruling over the world for a while. A very long time, centuries. We all know this, though, so I can't sit here and explain it to you guys because you guys already know. But for the people that just stumbled across this video, this is happening. We need to come up with plans within our communities. We need to talk to our neighbors. I've been talking to people at work. I talk to my neighbors about it. There has to be a mutual understanding between you, your neighbor, or your peers, or anybody in your life. And everyone needs to be on the same page about this. Because if not, then once they pull the final plug, which they are, we're literally in phase 2 right now. They stepped up their game big time in 2022. People are going to be fighting each other. They're going to be probably out there acting crazy and hurting each other instead of doing what we need to do, which is to come together and become self-sufficient within our own communities and try to break away from this system. We need to try to become less dependent, or not dependent at all, on this system. And if we let them have their way and they get this new world currency, which is of course the cryptocurrency system using body activity data, nobody will ever be able to rise up ever again and challenge any kind of world authority, especially a, quote, all-powerful totalitarian government for the entire world. So, President of the United States used the term New World Order. It's not his first time using the term, but it's his first time using it openly, basically to be published everywhere. So that's something to look into and watch out for. Moving on. All right, here I am over at American Military News. And check this out. Remember how we all have been saying that they're going to pull something along the lines of EMP, power outage scenario, dark winter, all that fun stuff. Well, what's this? I don't care about your breaking news and important alerts. Thank you. Remember how we've been watching that for a couple years and people, are just like, oh, whatever. We even said, I have it on record myself saying, actually, in my video. I'm not sure which one it is. I'll have to go back and look so I can tell you guys where it's at. But on record, I said that they will blame either Russia, that was my first word, Iran, North Korea, China, ISIS, COVID. They have so many scapegoats now. Nobody will even be thinking once they finally do this. They'll automatically, if they did it right now, they would automatically assume that Russia did it. Biden releases Russian cyber attack warning to all Americans. Here it is. Okay, and it's funny how this article literally says, here it is. Like, here it is, guys, get ready. At least that's what I took away from it, but that in itself could be a stretch, so it might not be anything. President Joe Biden released a statement to all Americans on Monday afternoon warning that Russia may target the U.S. with cyber attacks. His full statement is below. Oh yeah, and Ohio passed the constitutional carry bill that's been going around in our legislature for a while. A lot of people are happy about it, but it doesn't affect me because it literally matters not to me because free men don't ask permission. But cool thing to have, even though it's probably a setup. Okay, here is the president's statement on the situation. This is a critical moment to accelerate our work to improve domestic cybersecurity and bolster our national resilience. I previously warned about the potential that Russia could conduct malicious cyber activity against the United States, including as a response to the unprecedented economic costs we've imposed on Russia alongside our allies and partners. It's part of Russia's playbook. So let me stop here for a minute. You see how they're doing this? They're already building it up in the minds of the people that when something does happen, boom, Russia. If they pulled it right now, they pulled the plug right now, everybody would just go with it, and they would be like Russia. They wouldn't even have to look into anything. They probably wouldn't, and you wouldn't be able to. So there's that. Today, my administration is reiterating those warnings based on evolving intelligence that the Russian government is exploring options for potential cyber attacks. From day one, my administration has worked to strengthen our national cyber defenses, mandating extensive cybersecurity measures for the federal government in those critical infrastructure sectors where we have authority to do so, and creating innovative public-private partnerships and initiatives to enhance cybersecurity across all our critical infrastructure. They have to destroy this old system. I've said this before. I feel like a broken record, but I have to say it again. They literally have to destroy this new system, or this old system, because they have to make way for their new artificially intelligent 5G system. The 5th generation and beyond, of course, 6G, 7G. Who knows when they'll quit upgrading it, if ever. This is the one for the Internet of Bodies. It's already in place. The towers are everywhere. They put them so close together because of millimeter waves. But, you can't have a new infrastructure without destroying the old one first that we've had for a lot of decades. Congress has partnered with us on these efforts. We appreciate that members of Congress worked across the aisle to require companies to report cyber incidents to the United States government. My administration will continue to use every tool to deter, disrupt, and if necessary, respond to cyber attacks against critical infrastructure. But the federal government can't defend against this threat alone. Most of America's critical infrastructure is owned and operated by the private sector, and critical infrastructure owners and operators must accelerate efforts to lock their digital doors. There's another reason why they're going to do this. They don't like the fact that a lot of people, private sector, they don't like the fact that they own parts of the grid. They hate it. You can go buy stocks in the grid right now. They need to get rid of that. This new system is not going to be owned by anybody except for the New World Order elites at the top. The Department of Homeland Security, Cybersecurity, and Infrastructure Security Agency has been actively working with organizations across critical infrastructure to rapidly share information and mitigation guidance to help protect their systems and networks. If you have not already done so, I urge our private sector partners to harden your cyber defenses immediately by implementing the best practices we have deployed together over the last year. You have the power, the capacity, and the responsibility to strengthen the cybersecurity and resilience of the critical services and technologies on which Americans rely. We need everyone to do their part to meet one of the defining threats of our time. Your vigilance and urgency today can prevent or mitigate attacks tomorrow. We already know who's behind this. We've seen the Department of Homeland Security's, they did the drills, the EMP drills the past couple years. They've been doing them like crazy. And believe me, they know exactly what to do when the time comes. And basically, the National Security Advisor and Neuberger said the U.S. had evolving threat intelligence that the Russian government is exploring options for potential cyber attacks on critical infrastructure in the United States, which necessitated renewed warnings of a Russian cyber attack. That's all I'm going to read here. Now, this is perfect. But a lot of people seem to think, they go around putting stickers on gas pumps and they're like, oh yeah, this is Joe Biden's fault. Dude, he's the one behind all this. No, this guy is literally a puppet. He was caught on tape saying, I don't even know what I'm signing. And people behind him, his advisors or his bosses were like, just sign it, it doesn't matter. You think this bumbling idiot that can't even form a coherent sentence half the time, you really think that he's a mastermind behind anything at all? Come on. Same as Donald Trump. People are looking to him to be the savior right now. You don't put your faith in man to be the savior. You don't do it. Man cannot save himself. It's impossible. But we live in a world now where people immortalize living in the flesh, and they want to basically worship living in the flesh itself. Man will become God, right? Moving on. Okay, here we are over at ABC News, and here is another article, but this one was from February 25th, 2022. This is right at the beginning of the Russia-Ukraine, quote, conflict. Right at the beginning. This is called predictive programming. They're telling you what they are going to do, and it makes sense for them to do it. Like, we were thinking for a while, oh, they're going to pull it in the winter. But it would make more sense if they pulled it during a spring-summer season, because then all summer long, all fall long, people are going to waste whatever provisions they have. They're going to go through it in less time than that. So when wintertime comes around, we won't have anything. It's really the perfect plan. Now they got the perfect scapegoat. So you tell me what's going on. I mean, none of this is coincidence. All the world is a stage. And these people are playing us all like fiddles with their mind control and their geoengineering. And they were spraying like crazy today. And their predictive programming and their blatant disrespect and disregard for freedom for the individual, which a lot of people now don't even believe in freedom for the individual. They argue over who they want to rule over them. Nobody cares about freedom. They think because you can go choose between McDonald's and Burger King that means you're free. No, that's not what that means. That's like the same thing as, oh, am I free if I have choice? Like, I can go stick my hand in a box full of scorpions, or I can go stick my hand in a box full of killer hornets. Oh, I got the freedom to choose. That must mean I'm free. No, you're still going to stick your hand in a box of a very venomous animal or insect or whatever. shields up how a possible cyber attack could affect Americans and how to prepare. Experts say, there it is, experts said, whether it's from C19 or this or any other thing that they throw at us, it's always experts said. Experts say is the new God. But the Russia-Ukraine conflict puts the world in uncharted territory. As Russia's military continues to strike Ukrainian cities, national security officials are keeping eyes on a different battlefield. And here's the thing about that whole thing. If you even just ask a question to yourself, wait, if these news agencies were lying to me when they said that a gun show in Kentucky was a Syrian border town where the Syrians were murdering Turkish citizens, what makes you think you can believe any of this? I'm not saying that there's nothing going on, because I know people are getting shot. I know people are dying. But you can't trust anything that the news says. CIA Director William Casey under George H.W. Bush, Poppy Bush. So, like the little play on words there, Poppy Bush because he's the dad, and Poppy because Poppy sees in Afghanistan. Anyway, but he said, quote, "We will know our disinformation program is complete when everything the American public believes is false." Senior U.S. law enforcement and Homeland Security officials have told ABC News that there is growing concern that Russia could launch further cyber attacks against the West. The potential targets include electrical grids, banking systems, mobile networks, according to the officials. Currently, there is no cyber threat to the U.S. homeland, right? According to the Department of Homeland Security. Cybersecurity experts tell ABC News that people shouldn't panic over a potential cyber attack, but they should start preparing for one. All right, let's see. Cybersecurity experts tell ABC News that people shouldn't panic over a potential cyber attack, but they should start preparing for one. Even though I'm not very prepared against a cyber attack, then it's too late for me. If you're just starting now to prepare for anything, it's too late. It was too late 10 years ago. Quote, "Freaking out is not a productive thing to do. There are lots of reasons to think that the fact that something is out there, but that doesn't mean it could happen." Stuart Madnick, founding director of cybersecurity at MIT Sloan, told ABC News, but there are still a number of things that people can do to stay safe and protected. Madnick, whose group has consulted with U.S. agencies and private companies such as NASDAQ, said the world is in uncharted territory when it comes to cybersecurity, since this involves alleged cyber attacks by a major superpower. However, what has transpired so far is similar to previous cybersecurity incidents, he said. And basically just goes on, there are two types of cyber attacks. One that have indirect impact on people's livelihood, and attacks targeting the tech of specific people. And you better believe if the power goes out, all of their stuff's covered. They spent a ton of money hardening their infrastructure for their technology to work, while our lights won't even turn on. And once the lights go out, how do you think people are going to act? You guys remember how people acted at the beginning of 2020 when they basically tested it and they made everybody dance like puppets when they said, "Hey, we're running out of toilet paper." Oh man, people were shoving each other down. It was like Black Friday, except for toilet paper and not a TV this time. What do you think they're going to do when it comes to a prolonged power outage or anything like that? The biggest indirect hacking examples in the past have targeted key infrastructure points, such as the Colonial Pipeline ransomware attack in May 2021, which affected everything from gas prices to flights. In the last 2 years, we've been seeing more of these attacks around the world, Maddox said. You need to realize how many of our systems are connected to computers, and just one hack can have bigger effects. That was the point of the whole technological age, was to get everything connected under one umbrella. So they don't have to go around turning a bunch of stuff off. They could just cut it off right here, right now. Kind of like WO 2020-06-06-06, when you get out of line and they cut off your money supply. because you were bad and you went outside past curfew. You spoke out against the established power system. You did something we told you not to do. So we're going to take food away. We're going to take everything away from you. We're seeing it right now, and right now they're getting people used to this idea. They're getting people used to the idea that they can just shut entire countries down. That way, when it starts happening more frequently to people who just so happen to be different political leanings or do something like what I do, or even any of you guys, people are going to be a little bit more accepting of it. Because subconsciously they're going to think, oh, well, they were doing it to Russia and they were bad. So if they're doing it to this guy, he's probably bad. On Friday, Ukrainian officials warned a phishing scheme emanating from Belarus, which pretended to be a member of the Ukrainian cybersecurity agency. Javid Ali, the former senior director of counterterrorism at the National Security Council, told ABC News that the attacks could escalate to affect utilities such as gas and electricity. Why do you think they're trying so hard to get rid of gasoline? Come on. And your electric car ain't going to save you because guess what? It's not going to work. Those will be escalatory steps from Russia, and that will also likely be integrated with physical military operations, all designed to bring cascading effects against Ukraine, he said. Madnik warned the cyber attacks on the Ukrainian computer systems could potentially spill over to other regions depending on how close computer networks work. However, he noted the U.S. officials are paying close attention to online activity. Ali said it's hard to predict if Russia would take such an action on the West, since it would mean an immediate retaliation from countries with their own state-of-the-art tools and tactics. Quote, the thresholds for those operations being launched, the effects, and the duration, those are all things would have to be thought through very carefully. But U.S. Cyber Command is the lead for military operations for the United States and has world-class capability. Think about this. Whenever all this goes on, or even like regional wars, or, bigger wars, or even World War III, it's never them who have to put their sons out there to fight. They never have to go out and put themselves in danger. They make us do it. They make the sheeple do it, right? A lot of items they're checking off their agenda lately. And we have to get, their target date is 2030. So, and they've already gotten this much done in 2 years. What do you think the next 8 years is going to be like? And we're all just sitting here and taking it. Not doing a damn thing. Department of Homeland Security, the agency tasked with domestic response to the invasion in Ukraine, has set up a page to the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Agency's website specifically warning of cyber attacks emanating from Russia. Earlier this week, the U.S. Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency sent an advisory to business and organizations urging them to enact a Shields Up guidance. While there are not currently any specific credible threats to the U.S. homeland, we are mindful of the potential for the Russian government to consider escalating its destabilizing actions in ways that may impact others outside of Ukraine, the agency said in its letter. Come on. I mean, it's not that hard to see through this stuff. And the manufactured consent is so powerful right now. They're literally getting people to consent through their silence on everything. Like I said a little bit ago, people don't even believe in freedom anymore for the individual. They think too much freedom is bad. They think that that's dangerous. Well, it's my right if I want to do something dangerous. It's freedom. The federal government has called on businesses to make sure their information technology teams update their computer software to close any vulnerabilities and train their employees to watch out for any malware. So basically, they're just going on, with this kind of stuff. And then he goes on to say, quote, organizations like banks that have been targeted for a long time have done a better job in shoring up their cybersecurity, he said. Others, like hospitals in smaller municipalities that haven't been attacked in the past, tend not to do well. So they basically just go on and say that people need to protect themselves from whatever, but they're going to integrate all of it into the new system. Everything is probably already ready to go, but they just have to get rid of this old one. And it just so happens they have the, again, perfect scapegoat. And here pretty soon, this is going to run simultaneously, side by side, with the new variant of C19 that's going around that they're now saying can infect the whole world again. And you need a fourth booster in order to be safe. Why are we still dealing with this 2 years later? People can walk outside and look around. There's still nobody. I still have yet to see even one body laying in the middle of the street. Even one. The only time you see anything is on television. Okay, so I'll read this last little part here. Manick said cyber attackers linked to foreign agencies wouldn't likely conduct attacks that targeted individual Americans, but people should still be mindful of the vulnerabilities in their tech. Having updated antivirus and malware software, staying on top of computer updates, and avoiding any suspicious links in emails go a long way. Quote, cyber attacks and cybersecurity are not something we talk about a lot, but we need to, he said. This is not a brand new issue. And like this sentence up here where it says, wherever Madnick says that they wouldn't likely conduct attacks that target individual Americans, that's meant to ease the minds of people. They're not going to worry about little old me. But the fact of the matter is, if they hit something on a wide scale, and I'm not talking about Russia, if they hit something on a wide scale, that affects all individuals, right? This is classic doublespeak. This is classic predictive programming. This is classic their playbook. They have to tell you what they're going to do. It's the rules. And it also makes them feel better about what they're doing. Like, for anyone that is not familiar with the tactic, if I came up to any one of you early in the day and I said, hey, at some point in time, I'm going to punch you in the face as hard as I can. And I let the whole day go by until 11:59 p.m. and you thought all day you weren't going to get hit in the face. You thought I forgot about it. You thought whatever you thought. And I walk up to you at 11:59 and I crack you in the face as hard as I can. I'm not going to feel bad. I told you I was going to do it. That's your fault for not listening to me when I told you I was going to do it. I mean, this is the season that we're in. This is the time that we are in. People are just so willingly accepting of all of this information through no real research, no kind of critical thinking, no kind of even questioning any of it. And I thought after that whole Syrian border town thing that happened to be a Kentucky gun show, I thought when that broke that people were going to be like, hey, we can't trust the media anymore. But of course, they go right back to it. And people think that, on the left side, they think that, the media can be trusted again because Joe Biden's the president. How do we get to this point? It's beyond me, really. But, anywho, I will go ahead and wrap this up. I'm still planning a live stream. It's going to be a surprise one. So, I'm not going to plan it. I'm just going to come on one day. So, it'll be a nice little surprise for you guys. But, yeah, I'm looking to get that done soon because I haven't talked to you guys, face to face in a while. Well, as face to face as we can be, and I miss doing live streams. But we got to keep an eye on this stuff. And if you have anything that you want me to see, anything at all that you want me to read and maybe put on here, my email is Austin J Star with 2 R's 0127 at gmail.com. Let's say the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. For thine is the kingdom, power, and glory, forever and ever. Amen.